on my face. I'm like, no.
Same with me. It's like every
mid-laugh or something, and I'm just like, that's dumb.
Every freeze frame like that they choose to put as the cover for the video, I'm going. Like it's just, oh my God. So like this probably will be the one where I'm like, this will be it.
Right?
No.
I'll just do this through the whole thing. I just screwed myself. You know that's gonna be the
right. I'm gonna laugh real hard to see it.
All right. Oh my God. So we're recording. So welcome to Threads of Wisdom. We are on week
43.
43.
Yeah, I remembered. Yay, me.
So, real quick, I'm Lola from Children of the Crossroads. My partner, Phil, will not be here for the next couple weeks. So next week and the week after because of work and anyway, but I don't want to talk about that on recording. A little bit about Threads of Wisdom, and that's, I know you guys know the spiel, but it's for people if they watch later. The Threads of Wisdom was created by the Golden Thread Grove in Idaho. It is a teaching tool for your year and a day pagan basics. Each week you attend, you will receive an image of the topic we discussed, and Golden Thread Grove has requested that these images not be distributed to anyone that has not participated in a discussion on a particular topic. At the end of the year, if you attend all 52 weeks, you'll have 52 cards as a divination tool.
Boo, boo, boo.
The Wicca decks. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share the image. We are talking about animal helpers, not hamburger helper.
Depends on the animal, I guess.
Says the vegetarian.
That's why I said it.
Right. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, look at the paws.
I know, it's cute. So what do you think of when you see this card? What kind of feelings do you get from it? What does it bring up in you?
Fuzzy animals.
Yeah.
Well, I see the water and I see the earth and I see how the animals are connected because they're all in the water and the earth, kind of.
Yeah. You got all kinds of foot animal prints there. It looks like
Right.
bears, birds.
Well, and
cats.
I think for me, like elementally speaking, I think animals are more connected to the earth and the water than they are to fire and air. I don't know. I mean, I know there are some that are associated with the others, but not. It just seems like most of them, like, are air and or sorry,
Earthy. Yeah.
water and earthy.
Well, when I think of animals, I think of, if we were to think of an element, earth. Even though, like you said, there's animals that are very air-like, your birds and that. But I also feel like this says that they're with us even when we don't see them. So, like, their footprints are always there. It's like
Right.
Animals are around us in many different ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their messages are a lot easier to miss than others, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
Because as humans in the world that we exist in today, we don't honor the cycles and the movements of the animals as much as we used to when it was more tribal and nomadic and
Mm-hmm.
the prey versus predator stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and you would the tribes and all that who lived off the land with the animals, they had to share the land with the animals.
Yeah,
So they had to
definitely
be
something.
very in tune with them.
Yeah.
So if you overhunted, you would starve.
Yeah. Well, also you knew when there was danger coming too, like because animals would start acting weird, like if the weather was going to change or there was some storm or whatever. You got in tune with what are the animals doing, because they still do that. Animals get weird when the energy changes. So I feel like that's kind of what I get from this is that they're always there. You may not see them, because an easy card for this to draw would have been just a bunch of animals, but I like the concept of the footprints.
Like the invisible animal. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Totally agree.
Well, I feel as humans, we've kind of a lot of people have disconnected from animals because it's just not the same. Like, we've got so many things in our way in our daily lives that we can't just sit and be with those animals.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing so I can so you guys can see my pretty face.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do the other one. I was waiting.
I was. I decided not to, because there's enough already. There's enough of that picture going around now. Rah! All right.
Did you see my crazy one with the fire and the teeth?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
one
know.
was
That's
creepy.
kind of creepy looking.
I came across it and was like, "Oh, that's Ariel."
I know.
Brad was like, "You can't share that. That creeps me out." And I'm like, "Well, get over it."
Yeah. Post. All right.
Ta-da.
So, what do you think animals? I mean, there's a lot that we just talked about, but in our craft and in our pagan beliefs, how do we incorporate animals into our craft?
Well, I mean, cats are very protective of us, and they protect us from spiritual beings.
Yeah. Yep.
I think for me, I feel a real strong connection more to the birds.
Mm.
I find feathers frequently. It was kind of interesting because after Spring Mysteries, I went outside and there were just feathers like all over the place. And I'm like, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
So I
That's
gathered
awesome.
a couple of them because I had read earlier on one of my tarot cards that you could build a witch's ladder from that witch's tarot deck.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, cool. I should save those so that I can build a witch's ladder. Got to find a hagstone, but you know.
Yep. Was that you asking in one of the groups where you could get hagstones?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Someone else is looking for hagstones. That's the second time I've heard that today.
Hi, Danielle.
You're on mute.
Hello.
Hey.
My mute was mic'd or something.
Your
You
mic
look
was
like you're wearing a Halloween smock.
It's my apron.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's super cute. So we were just talking about.
It's cute.
We were just talking about how we work with animals in our craft, and Bree was saying, you know, cats protect us from strange energies, and Ariel was talking about she relates a lot to birds, finds a lot of feathers, and wants to build a witch's ladder with the feathers and hagstone. And how do you work? How do animals relate to you in your spiritual work, in your craft, Danielle?
Sasha follows me around everywhere and
You've
is
got
a pain in the butt.
You have a
I
house
collect
full of
a lot of feathers too, because one is chickens. So like right now they have very little feathers because they're molting.
Yes.
They look terrible. And one of them's bleeding, and I'm really hoping that they're sleeping now and leaving her alone.
Oh.
Around here, it's fun because, you know, when you're out in the boondocks, I actually get owls that pop in now and then, and lots of deer and other wildlife that I like to try and pay attention to and see. I always, it's like, deer, coyotes. But if it's within range of normal, then I won't necessarily pay attention to it. But if a moose shows up in my yard, I mean, that's relatively normal, but it's abnormal enough to take note.
I've had that happen too, and I was like, oh my fucking God, that was a moose. It was like at 5 a.m. I just barely come outside for my smoke and my coffee, and I'm like, that was a fucking moose. Holy shit.
Or, like, for example, it's less, but we have a bald eagle that is around.
Yep.
And if I see it flying in the sky, I might not make note of it. If it lands in the tree in my yard, I'm going to make a note of it.
Right.
So so like for me living in the city, you know, we don't see a lot of wild animals, but once in a while, if I do spot a turkey walking in my back alley or a deer, which has happened, I'm like, okay, what is the universe trying to tell me? Because this is like, urban living and there's a deer, walking down the street. Like that's a little weird.
Right.
Yeah.
In
For
your
you guys,
circumstances, it's a little more unique.
Yeah.
Yep, deer you can get once in a while. It's still strange because I've had them up there on Francis, which is only, a couple blocks from you.
Yeah.
Up by like Joanne's.
Yeah.
And turkey, again, not out of the ordinary, but out of the ordinary enough because it's not like you normally get a whole bunch of them. If I get turkeys, it's Tuesday. There's turkeys out
Dude,
there.
I got 20 of them out in my yard on a regular basis. And I'm like,
Yeah, that it's not a common, but it's not unheard of. But I still like to pay attention and go, okay, I'm apparently seeing a turkey today.
right? I write
Like,
about it in my journal and shit and be like, okay, there were 6 skunks in the yard today, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but I'm going to put it in here just in case it means something.
I should look at like quail because again, this is a really common occurrence, but the flocks of quail that we have, it's like 50 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
And that seems excessive.
Yeah.
We have at least 3 or 4 different families, and you can tell because they'll come out in the yard and they fight each other if they're not part of the same like flock. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, Danielle, but it's interesting. I'm just like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have that's why I know that they're all together because there is no fight and it'll like take up an entire section. It's crazy.
So do you peeps work with any kind of going to meet your totem animal? Have you done that kind of work in meditation or shamanic journeying? You can meet a totem. Do you have totems or anything like that?
Dragonfly.
Dragonfly? Did you meet that in another place, in a dream, or?
No, I didn't meet it in a dream. It was like one of those little stupid quizzes you can take. And it told me that the dragonfly was my spirit animal. Did you see it? I'm showing you my dragonfly.
I enjoy those quizzes, but I highly suggest if you really, really want to meet what your real totem is, take a journey or a meditation to meet it. If it turns out it's a dragonfly, that's awesome. But yeah, I suggest doing more of a spiritual,
more of an introspective one rather than the commercial bullshit they sell you online.
Yes, those are fun, and I found some cool little things that I'll work with because I always say, look, if I take the quiz and it comes up, let's say, a monkey, okay, then I'm thinking, well, today I need to focus on monkey energy. That's just kind of how I look at it.
Just but be similar. It's a randomized thing, and yes, it's your quiz and stuff, and it was made by somebody else. But to me, it's kind of like picking a card from the Oracle deck.
Right. The universe can still speak through that kind of commercialism.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, because you choose to look at it that way.
Right.
Yep. We choose to make even the mundane a message, and animals around us have those messages, right? They are symbolic of our moods. They read off our moods. They set off our moods. Looking for the naughty cat.
Behind you.
On the couch.
Oh, look. And then she does shit like this, and I'm like,
she's like, what are you looking at, naughty? I'm feeling.
I would never. I am the sweetest, most innocent darling.
As she takes a bite out of your fucking fingers.
Yeah, she's just been a pain in the ass.
Did you notice that my phone hung up a minute ago? Luna came over and put her paw on the button and hung it up.
Oh, of course.
She's like, you're done. Sorry.
Yep.
She's doing much better, by the way.
Oh, good. Yay for kitties.
I know.
So I know for me, I have had a few totem animals, and sometimes I manifest them because I have a connection with them. Like for me, is bears, and that's just mama bear instinct in me. So when I started working with bear energy, they started, and it's kind of like which came first, the in my waking hours working with that energy, and then it transfers to my meditations and my dreams or my shamanistic journeys, or did I meet it in the journey or the meditation or the dream and it is transferred to now just my animal in my waking hour that I work with. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It does to me.
Yeah.
Girl in prison, and she was very, very interested in animal things. And I remember she told me once, she's like, "Do you know you were a dragon before?" And I'm all like, "I was."
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, you've got dragon energy." And I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So I kind of kept that in mind, and I'm like,
Yep.
well, maybe. I don't know.
That's kind of cool though.
Yeah, and it can be as simple as that, as someone saying your energy is very, blah blah blah, and you could never have taken a journey or taken a quiz or whatever, and you're just like,
Okay.
all right, I'm going to take this as I need to focus on this kind of energy,
Right.
Again, making the mundane magical and getting the messages.
Exactly.
Anyone else? How about you, Danielle? Do you have a totem animal that you meet, or?
The one that pals around with me, and that's actually how I found it, is because I was debating over which Athame to buy. Or however you want to pronounce the dang word, because it's got like 40 million pronunciations.
I thought it was a that sounds good to me.
Some people say Athame, Athame, Athame.
I tend to flip-flop between. But one of them was an owl goddess, which is the one I ended up getting.
Artemis.
The other one I was looking at was the spiral goddess, and I decided I would sleep on it. And in my dream, I was standing there, and just owl after owl after owl was going over my head, and I was not flinching.
Yeah.
I got later. That is not the case. I duck.
In real life, I duck.
In real life, I duck. In real life, though, that was the nice confirmation, is I got to be a witness to two owls basically having a conversation. One was on like a pole on the other side of the road, and the other one was on the pole on my property, and they were just hooting back and forth. It was really cool.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I agree. My wife's hooters are my spirit animal too.
Oh, I'm so surprised.
You can always count on Derek for a sexual comment.
Yes, yes. Hooters.
I love it.
I'm all hooters.
I also have stag. And then when I was younger, I had frog. I've had mantis come in when I was getting my Reiki level 2. It was mantis, or mantis breeding season or hatching season, but I had one in my house, which in my plant, and it just was like chilling in my house plant. And I took, because it's patience and taking things slow. So that was at least a temporary, like transient spirit guide thing.
Yeah. Mine has been the bear, and I've come across. I had, before I knew they were my totems, I had a thing about frogs, and they're not even favorite animals. There's just something missing, because my favorite animals are bunny rabbits, and I love bunnies, and kitty cats. So, I could make a kitty cat or a bunny rabbit my spirit animal, but I know that that's just kind of because that's biased, like I'm leaning towards those animals. So I pay attention to the ones that I don't even really consider in my wheelhouse of favorite animals. And frogs kept appearing to me in my 20s. And so I would give people frogs, not real frogs, but like, little totem frogs, as for like good luck. If I just felt a connection with them, I would give them a frog. So yeah. And then, but mostly, the one that comes to me to help me through times is the bear. It's just this bear, and it comes in different forms. I've had meditations where it was a panda bear, and oh my God, I just remember the meditation I was going through was very serious and kind of dark, and I just wasn't quite ready to go there. And so this panda bear came before I went into the portal in the meditation, and this panda bear just like distracted me, and I just kind of just felt like playing with the panda bear. So at the end, when we all came back to at the time it was my old coven, the high priest, he said, tell us about your journey and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I played with a panda bear the whole time, so I really ain't got nothing for you. And he goes, that's that's something. And I was like, yeah, that's true. He's like, that's something. And so yeah, bears have always been around in some protective way.
My sister, the one that's a year and a half younger than me, and I grew up with more so than the others. Her name's Shanda, and she's always been associated with Panda.
Oh,
There's
really?
actually even a comic called Shanda the Panda that really fits her because she's very much different in a sexual way, much more polyamorous and whatnot. And this
Yeah.
comic book is all about this polyamorous panda bear called Shanda the Panda, and I'm like, what the fuck?
That's awesome. That's
So,
awesome.
I know,
Yeah.
kind of a little side tangent that really had nothing to do with any
No.
animal helpers, but
But
funny.
our animals come back to us. They repeat themselves. It's like anything we look for. Why do they act a certain way around us? You know, pay
Right.
attention to your animals. We were talking about earlier how before we had, you know, the Weather Channel and you know, news source or whatever. You know, it was people living on the land with the animals, and they would eat the animals, but they also had to blend, like, work with them and respect them, and also pay attention. Why is that, you know, herd of, I don't know, deer running in that direction? Or why are all the birds circling around? Or why
Right.
are the dogs, the coyotes howling and being weird and going crazy? Some sort of energy shift, or a storm's coming, or whatever. It's still the same, even though we can look it up. But I'm sure all of us here owning animals have seen our animals act
I
pretty
don't own any animals.
strange. Oh, you don't own any animals. That's right. I forgot.
Well, even if you don't,
But
I
you
know
know what's
you're-
really cute about that is that other people's animals absolutely love me,
I know.
drawn to me,
Yep.
even though I don't have any animals myself.
Yep. What were you saying, Danielle?
So other animal lore that we have, like I was thinking about the woolly caterpillars.
Mm.
I remember my great grandfather at one point telling me about the lore, like, oh, you know, it's going to be a terrible winter this year because the stripes were too far apart, whatever it
Yeah.
was. And that kind of stuff exists.
Yeah.
And it's actually interesting too, because if you know other signs, like I know not animal, but there are similar ones in the animal kingdom. Like, you know when to plant certain crops when the trees are actually budding, because they're already in tune with Mother Nature's cycle.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
and you know, because our planet grows us food for free before we messed it up. If
Right.
the apple trees, it's in their best interest to not spread the leaves until it's the right time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's paying attention to nature and the signs of the earth, and animals are probably one of the most, well, like I think Ariel said, some people ignore them the most, or the most misunderstood, but to me they're the most obvious.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they're there. They're like walking, and they're more into it than we ever will. Even our domesticated animals still have thousands of years of DNA and instinct that's in them. So when you watch your animals and how they're acting, it's really fascinating. You can learn a lot from them.
It's the reason why if a tornado hits, you go and open up your barns and just let your horses and your cows out.
Right. They're
And you
gonna
bring them later, because they're going to find safety somewhere, you hope.
Yeah. Animals usually can take care of themselves, but I always have the dreams that I'm always trying to save my animals and my kids from some apocalyptic thing. It's
I have a
always
lot
my
of
animals.
dreams. I had this one, and it was a very common reoccurring dream that happened while I was in prison. And my youngest sister, she's like 23 now, so she's still really younger than me. And we were trapped, and there were the snakes everywhere. But there was a trick to killing the snakes. You had to stomp on their head because there was a marble inside their head. And if you didn't squish the marble, they would just regenerate.
Oh, wow.
And I remember having that dream all the time. And I'd be like, fucking stepping around, stomping on snakes.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
It's
Yeah.
very specific, though. It's very specific.
Yeah, it was.
You
That's
need
what
to
was
share
weird.
that.
As a totem animal for you.
You need to share that dream in my Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to interpret that, but I'll
You want to
forget.
interpret that one? Okay.
Yeah, I
I'll
do.
see if I-
Yeah.
You know what, Lola? Probably to be honest, I have a journal entry because I saved all that shit from prison.
Yeah.
Because I used to journal a lot because you got nothing better to do, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah,
So-
reading and writing. Yeah.
I'll put it in there for you.
Yeah, I would love to interpret that and see what other people's interpretations are of that too.
Right.
So yeah, animal dreams. Those are when pay attention to those animals in your dreams.
Right.
I have a whole section of my dream work that has what the common symbolism is for when a particular animals show up. But like I always say, you can go with what the normal is, or what you read in the books and stuff like that. But it's still your dream. It's still your animal, and you might get a completely different feeling. Like, let's say you dream about bunny rabbits. Oh, fertility. But for me, bunny rabbits represents childhood. Every time there's a rabbit in my dream, I am taken back to my childhood, and it's an innocent time. So it's not fertility because I wasn't humping when I was 10. I wasn't trying to have babies at 10, but
Right.
there was this innocence of that time when I had rabbits in my yard, and I had rabbits when I was little. They were my pets. So if a rabbit comes to me, I feel so like joy, like child going yay, and it reminds me to see through the eyes of that innocence and that childlike wonder again.
Well, and it kind of reminds me of something that Bree and I talked about when she was trying to interpret a sphere and the color. And I said, well, what blue means for me isn't the same thing as what blue means for you, because we're all different and we all have different associations.
Yep.
So
Yep.
snakes might be scary.
Jumping off point, but they're not the be all end all. You always should default to what your personal feelings are, because
Right.
a lot of things, colors. Red may mean something completely different to me than it does to Lola, than it does to Bree, than it does to Ariel.
Right.
I'm leaving you out.
Yeah, you're not included, Derek, because
No.
you're just not really here. You're
Yeah.
invisible.
He's there. There's a that's what she said joke coming up soon somewhere. I just sense it. There's a joke
be
about hooters or wieners or humping or
Bunny rabbits humping.
Honestly, I was just confused because blue means the same thing to everyone. If I say she blew me, you know what I mean.
No, because when I was 8 years old, my aunt had me convinced that a blowjob was when you blew on your nails to fucking dry them. Okay, so fuck off.
Oh, that's funny.
oh no.
That's what they told me. I remember that shit.
So you're talking about blowjobs at a young age, and they're like, what? Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah,
What was your reaction when you found out what a real one was?
Yeah. Right.
Well, and I know I was 8 because it was the same time that The Little Mermaid first came out.
Yeah.
And because of the name association, I remember clearly how old I was when that came out. So
Wow.
That's
and there's
you.
there's Ariel's childhood. Anyway.
well, my dad had 10 brothers and sisters just like me. So, got lots of aunties and uncles. Yes.
So, do you guys communicate with animals in the spirit world? Have you communicated with animals in not this realm?
I would say my animal experience is kind of limited, but I do try to pay attention to the ones that are in my vicinity. So, like, if you look through my journal, there were 2 squirrels in the yard today and 3 crows that they caught 4 times, and so
yeah. That's
try.
good though. That's good because you are paying attention to the messages that they do deliver from other realms. So someone's laughing at. Is that you,
It's
Danielle?
me.
Oh, it's
It's
Bree.
me.
Okay.
No, not Bree. Ariel.
What? Danielle. I thought you said Bree.
No, Ariel, not Danielle. Not Danielle or Michelle.
Oh my God. I'm very tired right now and very stoned, so I'm really
I'm
out
very
of
tired and very stoned. How are you today?
it.
It's like throwing a club.
I am. Yeah, I'm just kind of. I'm very sidetracked with everything that's happening. With the husband going out of town for 2 weeks, and I'm like, my brain is. I'm thinking. I'm trying to multitask and plan in my head, and it's not working while I'm doing this. So I
The
apologize.
squirrel is exhausted. The wheel's going on without it, and it's falling
Yes.
off. The tail's dragging around. Yeah.
Yeah, so I apologize if I seem very distant. I'm not. I'm
Don't
just
be apologetic. Be you.
I'm being me right now, and
There's
it's
a reason why
tired
you're
and
feeling what you're
tired and
feeling.
stoned and
Honor it.
distracted. I know. I'm gonna honor my distraction, but I can't because I need to focus on this. So distraction, go over there and focus. So all right. Well, let me go ahead and I'll tell you a few like animals I've talked to. I don't know, Danielle, have you communicated with animals in other realms?
Yep.
How did that go? What was that like? Do you remember? Because sometimes people don't. It's like a dream, but you know you did it.
Yeah, I know I did it. I can't remember details. I know certain ones have been journaled elsewhere. It doesn't mean I can pull it up right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Because I've done a lot of the. I just took the Journey Through the Chakras with Animals class.
I so wanted to do that, but I didn't.
I haven't taken. I never took that one. It wasn't offered when I was, or I just didn't take it.
Kara's teaching it this semester.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've done meditations and stuff to try and connect with different spirit animals. That's why stag is in there. I don't really work with stag, but it was one that we did a meditation to meet your spirit guides, and I was fully anticipating it to just be my owl, and here comes a stag with wonderful antlers with the owl perched on top.
Of course. Yes. It's got to be there somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a meeting with a deer once, and I remember I was in the woods and in this other realm, this meditation travel, and I was in the woods, and I'm expecting my bear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I go and it's a deer, and I just kind of sat and watched the deer, and it just was really quiet. And its ears were moving, like it's listening, like it does, how deer do.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ran away, and I got up to head back, and then my bear was there. So I don't know if my bear scared the deer. I personally think that my bear is always there with me, and the bear steps back like, you need to pay attention to this. And I'm like, sit and watch the deer. So I think it was trying to tell me how to be alert and to listen. Silence. Like what we talked about last week, this is deer ears going. That's if you were wondering what that was.
Deer for me are always kind of like symbolic of Pan or Kerenios or any of those, Herne. I mean, you take a pick. There's a couple of them that are associated with that. And for me, that's what, if I see a deer, that's a message from that particular part of the pantheon, whatever one you pick. So.
Yeah. Well, and it just depends too on what message, because Athena's known for her owls, Hecate's known for her owls. Owls are just witchy. I mean, there's a lot of goddesses that owls are hanging out with. I know I had a friend who worked with Athena and that aspect of the owls. And whenever I would see an owl, it was always Hecate for me. And it was different.
Not Athena ever. I tried. I kind of went that direction. It was actually one of the spring mysteries that I went to the shrine, and there was a moment there, but it was basically her being like, no, not me.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not the one.
And see, owls are Artemis to me.
Yeah. See, that makes sense too. Yeah.
And that just makes sense too.
Yeah.
Right.
Anything else before we visit Madame Zola? Anyone have an interesting animal story, messages that they feel that they get from any of their domesticated animals. I'll tell you, I have full-on conversations with my dog Ziggy. Like it's beyond just what do you do? It's like we get in arguments in our mind together.
That's Sasha. I'm convinced that she fully knows English. She just chooses to ignore it.
Who does?
Sasha, my cat.
Oh, Sasha's such an attention whore. I love your cat. Yeah, Ziggy is kind of my familiar because I just feel that Ziggy and I have a connection. As far as familiars go, I don't really look at an animal in my house and go, that's my familiar, unless they really like Cece when we do circle in our house. Cece likes to be part of it, just like how Cupid, our cat, was. She never wanted to come out and see anybody, but as soon as we started doing circle, Cupid was doing figure eights around our feet. Cece would try to hop on the altar, try to hop up us, so all of us end up holding her in circles.
Have I ever told you about my ghost cat?
What?
Have I ever told you about my ghost cat?
No, you have not.
So I have a ghost cat, and
Ariel has a pet.
he or she comes into my bed every night, and I can feel it, like, you know how cats do when they want to lay down and they like roam and roam and roam and circle and circle, and then they like pat you down. Oh yeah, I have a ghost cat.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, there might be one that's just likes your house, likes your energy, and is like,
right,
I want to hang out with you.
well,
Yeah.
and it's not necessarily located in the house, because I had this ghost cat when we lived in our trailer in Pocatello as well.
So it's following you. Well, like you said, you don't have animals, but I know when you came over here, my dogs and cats were just like, I love you, and I was like,
Did you ever have a cat like growing up or anything?
Oh yeah, I had lots of animals when I grew up, because we
Okay.
lived out in the middle of fucking nowhere. So I had a horse, I had a pig, I had chickens, I had rabbits. So I mean, I've grown up with animals.
Yeah.
But once I left Dakota's dad, because we had fucking like 5 dogs and 3 cats and a goddamn bird, and I did not want to live that ever again. But I have always had a ghost cat.
Yeah.
That crawls into bed with me and does the little circle thing and lays down in the crook of my warmth and hangs out. And I'm not the only one that's experienced the ghost cat, because Brad has had that problem too. So you guys will have to let me know when you stay the night if the ghost cat comes to visit you.
Yes, the ghost cat. All right. Well, let's go ahead and visit Madame Zola. You're like, I need a 1-card reading. Look, Madame Zola's open, because I'm always open for business.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, and you're
Calm
like, Madame Zola, pick a card for me right now, and it's a 1-card reading, and it's who I am. It represents me right now, what I need to do. And she pulls the animal helper, not hamburger helper, but the animal helper. So, Bree, if you got this card today, right now, what do you think this means for you?
Trust my instincts more.
That's good. Yeah.
Animals are very instinctual.
Hell yeah, they are. How about you, Danielle?
It was funny because one thing I thought of was I need an automatic litter box scooper thing.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
They're so expensive.
I know.
I need one of those.
But I would say to pay attention to what animal signs are around me, time to make notes, maybe journal a bit I don't always journal, but now is the time to write them down and be like, oh, I had this experience with this animal just so I can track it. Pay attention to the things that are more out of the ordinary. This would also encourage me to pay attention to the ones that seem ordinary but are a little bit out of the ordinary, like a extensive flock of quail.
There you go. Yeah, like
noticing the pheasant out there again for the umpteenth time this week. They're crows, man. They're so strange.
They are weird.
Anyway.
There was a murder outside my store today.
Oh, I got murders every day in my neighborhood.
So do I, but different murders. Um,
Well, you know, get out of the city, girl.
how about you? Thank you, Danielle, for sharing. How about you, Ariel? What would this mean to you today?
It would mean to me that I need to pay more attention, and maybe sometimes I'm dismissing things that are not circumstantial. Because I have a tendency to go, well, I live out in the fucking woods. Of course, animals are around.
Yeah,
So
right.
I do
it
that
would just
sometimes,
tell me to
too.
pay attention.
Yeah. For me, this is kind of a weird meeting because I've been I'm signed up to do volunteer work at the Pet Smart Adoption Center.
I remember you saying
And
that.
I'm supposed to do it every Tuesday, and I was supposed to start last Tuesday, and the girl I'm supposed to meet there was really sick, and then I was supposed to Tuesday, yeah, and then I was supposed to meet yesterday, and she's still sick, and she tested positive for COVID. So I was very disappointed because I really want to do this. I really want to like connect with. I love animals so much, and I want to help other people connect with animals, and so I've been kind of bummed. So it's interesting that this is coming up. So I guess to me it's like just you're doing the right thing, and it'll happen when it's supposed to happen, and don't get frustrated, and you'll be connecting animals to other people, and just look at your animals right now and maybe try not to kill them, because then my cat Cece was just being a pain in the ass the last 2 days, and then I'm like, well, why would I want to connect people with cats like Cece? I'm kidding, Cece. I love you, sweetie. No, she's just been a real rat. So I gotta kind of re-look at my relationship with animals, because I love my animals, and I'm feeling very disappointed that I'm not getting connected to do what I signed up to do a long time ago. So I don't know
What's meant for you is always what's meant for you is always meant for you.
Yep.
It will happen when it's meant to be.
And I mean,
Oh,
if you
yeah.
would have went, you could have ended up getting COVID, and then
Yeah, exactly.
who's to know what could have happened, if you brought it home to your family?
Well,
like, you never
exactly.
know anything right now in this
Yeah.
day. So
Right?
Yeah, I get it. I'm just a Krabby Patty right now, so it's okay. I'll be fine. So, go ahead, and I'm gonna share the image in the chat.
Chatty Cathy. That's me.
I think there's a concert going on at the casino because I can hear it.
Yeah, there are places in Airway Heights where you can hear concerts. I know that I think Morgan, from her house, she can hear when concerts are going on.
Well, I'm
Sometimes
literally right next door to it, so
Oh, see, there you
I
go.
hear
Yeah.
it every weekend when they
Oh,
do it.
geez.
Yeah.
So let me know if you guys are able to get that picture. Oh my God, you guys, I'm so sorry. This isn't Stone Brain. This is just, I'm really sidetracked right now. I have a lot of shit I got to plan in the next few days.
I still need to figure out what to bring for Saturday.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
I wanted to make something really cool, and I can't. I'm stumped. Like, I can't think of anything fun for some reason.
Make we need sweet things like
Yeah, there's
sweets.
a lack of sweets.
Yeah,
So-
bring some sweets.
So we need
Cupcakes or
something sweet.
cookies or
Sweets, because there's
Some-
sweets and treats, and when I put sweets and treats on there, I'm thinking of like cookies, muffins, candies, pies, cakes, cupcakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna do a charcuterie board, but I can go with desserts.
Yeah.
go with whatever sets your heart on fire, Bree.
You guys
Yes.
didn't catch
We'll
that
be
at all,
good.
did you?
You said
We're gonna have a
charcuterie.
blast.
Thank you, Lola.
I got it.
I thought it was funny.
I thought it was funny too, but I thought, well, maybe she really pronounces it that way, and I don't want to be rude and correct her. Literally,
Is it
that's what I thought.
charcuterie? Charcuterie, is that how you say it?
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie.
Yeah,
Well, that's fucking lame. I will never say that right. I always say charcuterie.
yeah, it's charcuterie, but
Charcuterie.
Or
That sounds like
char-
something you do with your cooter, man. I'm good.
That's
No,
what I
you-
said. I'll bring a charcuterie board.
You gonna do a coochie board?
Is the
Yeah.
of tampons and other paraphernalia that's on the back of your toilet or underneath
Ooh,
your
Yeah,
cabinet.
I can
So,
soak tampons
Because
in
it's just
Kool-Aid.
us for once.
We have one,
let
that's
me
what
Hey,
it was.
let me stop recording
go ahead.
before you say anything else. Let me give the spiel here. If we have helped facilitate a spiritual experience for you today, please consider donating to Children of the Crossroads ATC so we can help fund dirty talk after hours
Like this.
on Sense of Wisdom. Your gifts of any amount are greatly appreciated, and donations may be tax deductible, as COTC is a 501c3 nonprofit. And there's the links. Did you all get the
Image. Yes.
image?
Yes.
Yep. All right, I'm
Okay,
going to delete the
So I
image.
have some housekeeping items.
And then I'm going to say bye to the recording. Bye, recording.
Bye,
Oh,
recording.
we'll be back next week, and we're going to talk about Guardians. Bye, recording.
Bye.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye. Felicia. Bye.